This is page 2 of the Algebra 2 Chapter 5 practice test. So number 13, the directions ask us to simplify, have no negative exponents. So let's see, q to the negative third, we want to move to the numerator and make it positive. R to the negative second, we want to move it to the numerator, make it positive. And then simplify everything else. So I'm going to pull the negative out front. I'm going to leave the 4/3 because that doesn't reduce. I've got, let's go alphabetically, P, Q, R. So P to the third. Q to the 0 goes to 1, so I have Q to the third. And R, we have a first and a second, so R to the third. All right, number 14. 4/3 doesn't reduce. X to the negative first moves to the denominator, comes to the first. Y to the 0 goes to 1. So that leaves us with a 4 in the numerator, a 3 in the denominator, x to the fourth and x to the first combine to get x to the fifth. All right, 15 through 24, we've got some factoring. So the first thing you want to do is look for a GCF. And I see one in that numerator. I'm going to pull out a 5. That leaves me with x minus 1. And in the denominator, I've got 50x. So 5 goes into 50 10 times. So we are left with x minus 1 over 10. And x. Don't forget the x. Okay. So I do see a GCF in the denominator. I'm going to factor out a 6. That leaves me with x minus 2. And that can reduce the 6 and the 9. 3 goes into the 6 twice. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So we have 3x squared over 2 times x minus 2. And that's as far as we can go. All right. Number 17, I'm seeing a GCF of 10. That leaves me with 5x plus 7 in the numerator. I'm seeing a 10 in the denominator as well. That leaves me with 5x plus 4. These cancel, and so we're left with 5x plus 7 over 5x plus 4. All right, number 18, I see a GCF of 4 in that numerator. That leaves me with x plus 8. And then the denominator looks easily factorable. I'm going to guess one of them is x plus 8, but we'll see. What multiplies to get 40, but adds or subtracts to get positive 13. So I would say 8 and 5. So the x plus 8's cancel. We're left with 4 over x plus 5. All right, number 19, we want to factor this numerator and factor this denominator, although I do see a 2. So we'll factor that in just a second and pull out that 2. Okay, so for the numerator, I've got an x and an x, and to multiply to get negative 10, but add or subtract to get positive 9. That would be x plus 10 and x minus 1. In the denominator, we're going to have x and x. To multiply to get 40, but add or subtract to get 14. X plus 10 and x plus 4. The x plus 10's cancel. And we are left with x minus 1 over 2 times x plus 4. In the numerator of number 20, I'm seeing a lot of 3's, right? So I'm guessing 3 is factorable. It's the GCF, so that leaves us with k squared minus k minus 90. And in the denominator, factor out a 3 as well. So that leaves us with k minus 10. 3's obviously cancel. This numerator is easily factorable because I'm guessing it's k minus 10 and k plus 9. So the k minus 10's cancel, and we're just left with the k plus 9. All right, looks like we get a little easier, yay. Okay, anything reduce? Yes, n to the first and n to the second. N to the first cancels, n to the second becomes n. 2 times 4 is 8, 7 times 5 is 35, and there's an n. X's cancel. 5 and 10 reduce to 1 and 2. So we are left with 2 cancel. So we're left with 1 over 4. All right, number 23, we've got some factoring to do. I see this is easily factorable, this numerator. So V and V multiplies to get 80, but adds or subtracts to get 18. So that'd be V plus 10 and V plus 8. And this has a GCF of 9, which leaves us with V plus 10. Those V plus 10s cancel. Anything reduced with the 9? Nope. Okay, so we are left with V plus 8 in the numerator. And 6V times 9 is 54V. And that's it. Number 24, I see a GCF of 6N. So I've got 10N minus, or 10 minus N. No N there. And then this factors to N and N, what multiplies to get 60, but adds or subtracts to get negative 16, that'd be negative 10, and negative 6. And I've got a 6 minus N, so I need to factor out a negative 1. So, but first I'm going to reduce that 3 and the 6 to 2. I'm going to factor out a negative 1 out of this and make it N minus 10. And then same thing here. I'm going to factor out a negative 1 and make it N minus 6. Okay. And let's see. N minus 10 cancels with the N minus 10. The N minus 6 cancels with the N minus 6. And I've got 2 times negative 1 times negative 1, which is just positive 2. And that N, don't forget that N.